How's everybody doing? Well, I feel a lot better. And of course, I'm having cranberry juice. No, it's cranberry juice. It was a huge, to keep myself hydrated. So I haven't had a drink at all in 3 days because I just got sick. And with this cold spell in the city, oh my goodness, Lord, give us strength. That's really, I mean, my immune system was already down, and this weather is just it sucker punched me, pow, right in the kisser. And I want to thank all of you for writing me your wonderful letters and notes and praying for me. This one person did a prayer mass for me, and I believe that that's the reason why I recuperated that quick. Do you see the power that you guys have? Because I definitely had the flu. Oh, no doubt. No doubt. I'm better in 3 days. I mean, I'm a Virgo, so, that Virgo nurse doctor in me sprung into action. I just started doing what I had to do, but I had no energy to go and do videos. And I'm like, wait a minute, I got to change this because, I got a lot of work to do. I got a lot to cover. So I would not have been able to continue to do the series had I been knocked out for 2 weeks. 2 weeks is a long time. So, I took my rest, took my Gatorade. I'm not as congested as before. It's a little tight. But thank you so much for your concern. I learned my lesson. From now on, after my 90-day cleanse, because I started a 90-day cleansing. Okay, so after the 90 days, I don't think I'm going to go back to hard liquor drinking. I'm going to do a white wine, sweet white wine. And maybe on occasion, I'll have me like a white Russian, which is really Kahlua and milk. Milk Kahlua, really? I ain't going to knock you unless I put a little vodka in it. But no, I can't do that. Virgos, we know our limits when we go into extremes. We pull back. Remember, our opposite sign is Pisces. And Pisces is the sign of self-indulgence, hungry, abandoned to desires and pleasures. And so that's in us, that's Virgos, pulling from that polarity. So I think I've had enough of that. So now we are going to find another approach for me to do what I am doing so that I can stay linear and stay healthy so I can continue to do the videos for you guys. So today we're going to talk about Pisces and Cancer. Pisces and Cancer. Hold on. Let me see if I can put some more lighting. For some reason, I always think I don't have enough lighting. I don't know what. I think that's better. That's much better. Much better. I know I didn't shave or anything. I'm telling you, a beating I got. It's like God saying, look, bitch, you better stop that motherfucking drinking and get this shit done. I'm gonna knock that fucking crown off your head. God could be a nigga, he could be a thug. So I'm like, all right. So, anyway, we're gonna jump right in and we're gonna talk about Cancer and Pisces, cardinal water and mutable water. Now, the first thing that you have to understand is the concept and the correlation to nature. Okay, the concept and the correlation to nature. You have, I've spoken a lot about Cancer, and how important the sign is, being a cardinal sign. And clearly, immediately off the bat, who's the boss? Now remember, it's tricky because it's not always the cardinal signs. It really depends. And it depends on the age, and it also depends on the gender, and the duration and how much history there is or has been in the relationship. But to understand the psychology of a couple, it's always good to go back to nature and make correlations with nature. Okay, we know that cardinal water and mutable water exist in the same basin. The ocean belongs to Cancer, but the open ocean also belongs to Pisces. So then, how do you differentiate cardinal from mutable in one body of ocean water? It's not like we're dealing with different pockets of water. No. Cardinal water is active. We talked about that. I gave an example about the Grand Canyon. The entire Grand Canyon was carved out of water. That's the cardinality of water. Active. It molds and shapes and can create all kinds of designs on the earth, aside from coming from the ocean. The water molds and shapes the topography of our planet. We don't really see it because we don't, the ocean is there, so we can see below it and see the floor of our planet where the ocean sits. If we were to evaporate all the ocean water from our planet will look quite different. Do you remember that movie, Star Wars? Part 1. I think it was part 1 or part 2. The Death Star. And I think it was part 1 or part 2. The Death Star was not fully built yet by the dark forces of Darth Vader, right? It looked like a half-eaten eggshell, right? Well, that's our Earth without the water. Add the water, now you have a sphere, which is the globe of our planet. So if you were to remove the water from our planet and you take a picture of it from space, it would look like the Star Wars Death Star just being built to continue the rebellion, right? Which we see in The Empire Strikes Back, the third sequel to the Star Wars trilogy, in which by then the Death Star is being built, completed, and then it looks like a sphere, right? So if we go back to the Earth's primordial history, when there was no water, before the water got here, the Earth pretty much resembled that of a Death Star, So our Earth will not have life and be what it is without the bodies of water that completes our Earth. That's just visually. Let's talk about the contents of the ocean. The coral reefs alone is enough to catalog an entire library of at least 10 stories. Let's not talk about the different marine life, the different species of life that's in the ocean. There are some species in the ocean that we have yet to discover. We don't know even how to classify or categorize. And we have never been to the depth of the ocean floor, except maybe once or twice with the Mariana Trench, which was a record. But it was only done once. No one has ever been able to repeat that again. It's too dangerous, too risky. Which means that there's a part of the ocean that is inaccessible to us, outside of our reach. The sun doesn't even reach down there. So understand the mysteries of the open ocean. That's Pisces. That's Pisces. Pisces, like Cancer, represents the womb. The womb, we got 3 mothers. We got the space mother, because in space is a womb. And from the womb of the blackness of space came the planets and everything else. And then we have another mother, the moon. And then we have a third mother, which is the earth itself, the feminine earth. We are born from her dust. So we are talking a lot about feminine principles here when you're dealing with Pisces and Cancer, regardless of the sex involved with the couple. And that kind of resourcefulness of riches that's contained in the ocean, a similar parallel can be made with the riches that Pisces has to offer. Pisces has so much to offer. Her depths are unreachable and unimaginable. It says in the Bible that the kingdom of God has not reached the imagination of man. It's according to the Bible. I forgot which book and verse. That's Pisces. Remember, Pisces is the 12th sign, so it's God, it's dissolution, it's all surrender. So then in the same basin, the same open ocean body of water, we also have cardinality. Well, how is the cardinality expressed? An immutable open ocean which Pisces represents. And how do we correlate this into human behavior and personality concerning a couple of a Cancer man or woman and a Pisces man or woman? Well, it's very easy. Remember, when you think of cardinal, always think of active. So what would be an active expression of Cancer, which is a cardinal sign, in the open ocean? Well, mysterious disappearances that occur in the ocean that cannot be explained. Mysterious rogue waves that come out of nowhere and break ships in half. Water? If you were to tell me that water can come out of nowhere and fucking slam a ship, a cruise liner, or even an aircraft carrier. Now, them motherfuckers are very hard to sink. With missiles, can you imagine water? There have been rogue waves that have destroyed vessels made out of titanium, metals that are impossible to break with man-made equipment. Yet Mother Nature can do it with water. With water, you can carve mountains. With water, you can divide lands into separate continents and isolate civilizations by having open waters in between, cutting off one civilization from another. And now you got two civilizations rising up differently from each other because of that separation. So understand that cardinal water represents activities that occur within that ocean that defies explanation, defies logic, and yet makes being in the open ocean a very dangerous place. Because if you're on a fucking boat or a ship, no, let's not even say a boat, a ship, ain't no shark gonna kill you. Ain't nothing gonna jump in that ship, not a boat, a ship, and hurt you. That's Pisces. The ship is sailing, and along with the ship, if you look on the sides of the deck, you see dolphins swimming along with the ship. Beautiful, right? Have you seen those images? Did you see that movie, Titanic, with Leonardo DiCaprio? At the beginning, when the ship sails out, and they show the dolphins leading, as the Lusitania or the Titanic is racing forward. Hey, more pixels, right? It's a beautiful scene in the movie. I love nature. I actually was teary to see that. I love to see nature like that. It's beautiful. That's Pisces. That ice that hit the Titanic, which caused it to sink and kill 1,400 people on it, that was Cancer. Cardinal water. Ice is water, just in a different molecular form. It's water in a crystallized form with a sharp edge. And that iceberg appeared out of nowhere. And yet, people thought that that little bit of ice just did a little scratch. Now realizes the bigger piece of the ice underneath the ocean floor, also symbolized by Cancer, was doing the damage. That's how you have Cancer, cardinal water, within mutable water, within the same containment of ocean body water. So what does that mean, and how does that translate into human personality and behavior? But let's go a little step further. Then you have the rogue wave, because you're safe from the iceberg. Okay, great. But what about a rogue wave coming from the Pacific or from the tropics? Because you survived the Arctic with the ice, but you're not going to survive the powerful winds and convergences of the winds in tropical regions, which can cause hurricanes, cyclones, tornadoes within the water. That's also Cancer, because this water becoming active. A rogue wave can hit and split that boat, in the ship, in half. If you Google rogue waves, you'll see documentary where they actually show you ships broken up into pieces by water. Water. This should humble you to the powers of nature. That same power is within each and every one of us. Within each and every one of us. So, we're going to jump right in. Yeah, I know I said that again. And we're going to now discuss the different psychologies of behavior attributed to Cancer and Pisces. The first thing that you have to understand, if you want to understand the relationship dynamics of a Pisces and a Cancer, is that what makes Cancer and Pisces compatibility outmost or work is an emotionally based connection. There has to be a shared emotionally based connection. Both water signs, okay, this couple, okay, is used to following their own intuition. Cancer has an intuition, and it's psychic and prophetic, just like Pisces. So both of them, man or woman, whether it's the Cancer man and the Pisces woman, or the Pisces man and the Cancer woman, both are going to follow their intuition about each other. They're both going to know about each other. Whether one discloses to the other or not, the other will know the motives of the other. And if the other doesn't know that the other person knows the motives of the other, eventually, through default and through sheer act of osmosis, because of them being together, the enmeshment of two water signs will cause there to be no secrets among this couple, meaning that they cannot hide anything from each other. They are going to know and see everything about each other, whether they like it or not. So, immediately and off the bat, if a relationship is to work out with a Cancer and a Pisces, there has to be an emotional connection placed immediately from the start. If this connection does not happen immediately from the start, it's not going to work. Usually, this particular couple has met before and has had previous encounters in other lifetimes. And that kind of familiarity has created an enmeshment between souls. So when these people meet, they're going to instantly recognize each other. The personalities will know each other, but the souls, which drive the personality and ego, will know each other and will understand the cosmic connection, which usually stems from past lives. So, okay, this intuition is what's going to this intuition is what's going to draw them together. Okay? No matter how difficult their circumstances or how unlikely society deems their match, true love will be out of the picture if this connection is not made. Okay? For Pisces and Cancer compatibility, if it's strong enough, okay, then the relationship can survive just on the emotional connection alone. Because once that emotional connection is established, everything else works itself out. It really is smooth sailing. But there's something else here. Both Cancer and Pisces would have come from very complicated lives themselves. And when they meet, they're going to recognize a kindred spirit within each other. That also is enough to connect them and make an emotional approval that can fuel a further exploration of their feelings towards each other, which can lead towards a romantic interlude and something more serious from that, or it can lead to a repulsion. Because as easily as it can converge, it can also be repulsed. Okay. For Pisces and Cancer, you have to understand that if the compatibility is strong enough, they will see themselves through any kind of difficulty. Either if it's communication, whether it's financial, whether it's family disapproval, differences of race, disparity of age, religion, long distance relationships, or any number of other potential obstacles that this couple may face. If they want to be together, they will be together. But here's the keynote. It has to be a mutually congruent or accepted decision among the two of them. If one doesn't feel the same way as the other, then it's not going to happen. And the one person that I think out of Cancer and Pisces that will put the most resistance will be Cancer. Both the Cancer woman and the Cancer man. But the Cancer woman is a little bit more easier to digest and to deal with because she makes her needs, her emotional needs, very obvious. She really doesn't give you a hard time into trying to figure her out because she wants you to know her so like that there is no damage control when it comes to bruised egos and feelings because of lack of understanding or because they're not sitting or meeting of the minds on the same platform. Understand that this happens all the time with all relationships, not just Cancer and Pisces. The situation becomes a little bit more sensitive with this particular couple because there is a reservation for some reason from Cancer. But then again, Cancer has a natural disposition of moving very slowly, not making decisions that quickly. Whereas Pisces is willing to jump into the abyss. Cancer might be a little bit intimidated by that emotional abandon and freedom that Pisces, which seems to come so easy to Miss Pisces or Mr. Pisces. Not so with Cancer. No, Cancer likes to test people. Cancer can be cruel. The opposite polarity of Cancer is Capricorn, the devil. So there's a streak in Cancer that could be a little bit, yeah, and every Cancer has his or her own motivation for doing this. Capricorn is another sign that likes to test people. Sometimes push people to the extreme to see what they will do and how they're going to act. And then from there, they can gauge you in another way that they will not have known existed within you had they not pushed you that far. They want to know what kind of person you are and what you are made of for Cancer to open up to you. And we're done with part 1. Oh, did it